Not like it ought to be.
Sure. I mean, what'd you say?
I said it's not like it ought to have been done, but that's
I
okay.
know.
Could have been more gentle. Some of them, the non-area games, make it see about kids.
Sometimes I hear you. Hey, how you off and running? Everything going okay?
Yes, sir.
I know you're busy.
Really, no. What I haven't done is really sit down with you.
Yeah, just call me. We'll make time. I'd enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, we need to, you, me, and James sit down,
Absolutely.
and then you and I have follow-ups because, I mean, he'll be here, but he's not going to be in this role.
Sure.
So I got to be prepared to help you.
I'll tell you what, the fastball's coming every day, so that's fine.
Well, you know, I know James
Has scripted.
The
bad news was
The only way you're going to get out of it is you got to get out of it. So let's turn the table and have everybody start talking to me, and then I'll come to you and get it rather than the other way. 'Cause that's how I know what's going on in your office and your office. Or start it with me, and I'll be using him these last couple of 3 months.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm an old guy.
Well, we'll do that right now.
I usually have to text. I'll text you before I call them and ask if they're available. Sure. Unless I'm out there.
And I went over and talked to him,
True.
Tim's had to hire a bunch of younger kids to call. It's the generation. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Okay, well, good.
Does he thinks he's special just because he knows how to text. Cool. Thank you, my friend.
Well, who doesn't?
What about your, around your office? Is it the shooting team?
No, it is.
You know you got to do all this. We want it all.
Right number 2017.
And that was,
Okay, so I'm gonna call you.
well, we had to get back in.
Y'all get notice from him, so y'all don't call James.
Well, we're trying to wean him off.
It's one thing to wean off the client, it's another thing to wean the lawyer off the client. Yeah.
Like I say, I'm just call you. I usually text you, ask if you're available.
Yes,
And if you can, start off, you can go this way. I'm old, I got plenty of things to do, don't you know?
I mean, it is, they can't believe it. How things. Yeah, you had it with you.
Yeah, he's never
James,
stolen it.
Oh, I know.
tax sales, we're very cautious with that.
Right.
A lot of times I send him information I don't need action on, but have a heads up.
Yes, yes.
Look forward to working with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dan's good.
Yes, I will.
I'd love to tell somebody. And then.
Yeah, I will.
And then good morning.
But that way we can call off the board, because I'll phone you too, and I'm going.
Okay. Then I will let him.
And if he says, well,
There's all kinds of, that's fantastic, like I say, that's the scene, it's about.
I think you do, but he might not be listening to me that day. He may know you.
I heard Glamour magazine's coming down to the before she came. Did you go second?
Of Aslan, they are.
Yeah, I left there about four. Cause I went from there over, no, that was five, I went from there over the same. I wanna go there. You know, with me, it's, I didn't hear anything about it. Sorghum syrup. It started Friday. Something happened on Friday, they didn't do it also. They're good.
Hey Kyle, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
They poured it up, you can buy jars of it.
I haven't seen their name.
I'm trying to keep up the pace.
Oh, you can do it.
He owns dozens of things.
Things for a horse.
I don't know who apparently
Grease them up.
well, they said there's
They
a,
look
I
risky.
think it may be
One of it, smoking.
a guy named Cash.
Business center.
Cash, I think it's he owns
Yeah, I heard he got.
lots of package stores and gas stations. All right.
That's the item that I had it on the 30th. Yep, okay.
I'm ready to be someone.
Right. Yep, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If we approve this, there'll be no reason to have a possible call. Yep, and let's see.
This right here.
Way down there, guys. There's a circle.
Which one you looking for?
Where was going
This is that one that
Right.
Color ball.
Number 6, there we go. So look, we might, that's connected. No, it's not.
That, no, a quarter of that.
Okay, I got you.
We approved of that. Okay.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Website.
Y'all amazing. It's up to y'all. What do y'all think about it? It's really good number
Go
one.
ahead, go ahead. Just talking to myself.
If you want to do it, you better.
Yeah, we can move on. We got Wolf.
The old joke, insurance. Agent is talking to the new business owner about what you want. He said, you want both flood and fire insurance? And the business owner says, I just want the fire insurance, because I don't want to start a flood.
They're so cute.
Okay. I'd like to have some coffee. That coffee will tone down my meds. Do what? She probably would. Look for her. Okay, we'll get cranked up here. Before we get officially started with a meeting, we'll start another meeting first. In St. Clair County, the 911 Emergency Communications District is the county commission. I think it's that way in 3 or 4 counties. So that's the way it is here. We're also the 911 board for the district. So we'll have that meeting first, and then we'll move from there on into, after we adjourn that meeting, we'll move into the other one, but they'll be almost seamless. It won't be be something that's held up unless Aslan has a fit about whatever we're talking about in the 911. Aslan's our 911 director. So thank everybody for being here today. And before I call either one of the meetings to order, if you'll bow with me for a word of prayer, and we'll ask God to bless the proceedings of our meeting today. Dear God, we thank you so much for being with us today, dear Lord. We thank you for your presence in our lives. And God, we lift up the things that we do here today to you, and we put our decisions at your feet. And God, we just pray that you'll guide us in everything that we do. And then we'll know, dear Lord, that we're doing the things that you want us to do. God, we also thank you for keeping us safe since the last time we talked to you. And Lord, we thank you not only for that for us, but we thank you for that for our friends and our families. And that includes the safety that comes from health and safety that comes from financial situations and our mental situations and our country, dear God. We just thank you for your guidance and your word and your protection over all of those things. God, we take our position seriously that you put us here in government, and we know you mentioned that position, these positions specifically in your word. So we know, God, that you take it serious, and we also do the same thing. And now, Lord, we ask you to go with us as we leave this place, and ask you to continue to protect us and keep the little pains of compassion in our hearts, dear Lord, so that we'll remember those that don't have the things that we have. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. And Mr. Parker, lead us in the pledge.
Attention, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank y'all, and we'll be seated, and I'll call to order the meeting of the 911 board. First item, the commission has a copy of the agenda in front of them for the 911 board meeting. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. A motion and a second. First item under that is to approve the minutes of the 911 board meeting of May the 23rd, 2024. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Motion moved. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. First item under new business, consider approval to renew the following Southern software contracts for FY25. Dashboard analytics, $950 a year. Computer aided dispatch, CAD system, $11,759. Geo back office, acronym GDO at $1,500. ARC GIS online connector, $2,850. Mapping software with MDS, $11,036, and net motion, $7,065. Taking all of those together, and kind of motion to approve those. Have a motion, properly moved and second to renew that following software. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. Motion carries. Next item, consider approval to renew the Data Tech 911 contract in the amount of $7,700. Have a motion? Motion. Second? Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion on that? Everybody familiar with what these are? I think pretty much so, and it's more technical than I can understand, so as we just tell them what it is, and I guess she's telling you what it is.
She's usually right.
Okay.
Everything's standard, that's what we're doing now.
Even when I argue with her, she usually turns out right. I hate it when that happens. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. Motion carries. All right, number 3, consider approval to renew the Kyocera. Is that the one I suggested that we do business with American company so we can pronounce the names or something like that?
You got it almost right, it's Kyocera.
Is that the way you say it? Who?
Kyocera. And they're right.
Kyocera.
Kyocera, Sarah.
Sounds like something from Japan. Consider approval to review Kyocera maintenance contract. Do we have an amount on that?
We do not.
Is it a lot?
It's not a lot.
But you got it covered.
They cover the ink and, coming and doing the maintenance on our little printer.
Nina, can you do this without a figure amount? What if it's $1 million?
It's normally $85 a quarter, somewhere
Okay.
around in
How
there.
much?
About $85 a quarter.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot.
Makes me feel a lot better. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. Motion carried. Item number 4, consider request of Aslan Campbell 911 Director to pay an invoice without a purchase order to Home Depot to purchase storage containers for the old Vesta system equipment that will be used for backup parts in the amount of $82.37. And, this was done without a purchase order. When Ashley was sort of wandering through Home Depot, it said, oh, I think I need those boxes right there. So she grabbed them, and, she knows she's supposed to get a purchase order, but it was probably done at, like 10 o'clock one night, on Saturday or something. So, entertain a motion to approve that without a purchase order. Have a motion, have a second. Properly moved and second, keeping you out of jail. Any discussion?
Yeah, for the record, it was not done at night. It was
Oh,
done,
okay.
yeah, during the day, business hours.
Let the minute show that was not done tonight. The only work we do at night usually is if we have to pay private driveway.
I don't look good in orange.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed no, motion carries. And that concludes the business that we have listed for the 911 board meeting. Have a motion to adjourn, have a motion, have a second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye, no discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no, motion carries. Okay, thank y'all so much. Now, moving on to the regular meeting of the county commission on this 24th day of September. This is the last regular meeting of this fiscal year. Of course, we've got a few more days till the end of the fiscal year, so there action could happen, and then after that, certain rules pop in to keep us from, we definitely don't need to be buying anything for the next few weeks, so that Michelle and her group can catch up on all the things that we've done up to this point, so to speak. So this will be our last official meeting as such, though, unless we make some changes out of this discussion we're gonna have within this particular agenda. So the meeting's called to order. I've asked a motion to approve the agenda.
No motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda? Everybody's had a chance to see it. There are some items that I'm not gonna mention the ones, but there's items on here kind of beefing up on my Robert's Rules of Order. We've got a couple of table motions, and the question was asked what you do with a table motion. Table motions are automatically dead if not taken up at the next regular meeting. So whatever the motions were, if we are not taking them up this time, then they die. And then they can always be brought back up in their same language or whatever at any other time. But I just want y'all to know when we have table motions that are coming up, and we don't take action on them, they die unless we make some arrangement to table them further.
That's correct.
Do that, okay? All right, having said that, entertain a motion to approve this agenda. Get that? Second, and got that. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no, motion carries. Next item, approve the minutes of the regular meeting, September the 10th. We'll have a motion, have a second. Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no, motion carries. Okay, moving on to the report section. We got the engineer's report. So Dan, give us your report.
Just to highlight a few things on some projects and crew stuff here. The project down at 411 and Park Avenue. Contractor is coming in due today, but the company that's needing to do the splicing could not do the work. They had something about the crews had to be gone to a hurricane site. So what they have scheduled right now is October 3rd and 4th. So they'll be done after that point.
So what you telling me, the contractor can't start again this week because of
That is correct. With y'all's permission, I want to go ahead and just do a letter up to send to the utility company to let them know that we'll be starting the week after that, regardless if they move or not, or ready to do that.
they've held us up 3 months now, they on that project.
Well, I'm moving that direction on that. Annie Lee Road, that's where we're using the recycled tires. Supposed to come in Wednesday, got a call yesterday afternoon. Doesn't look good weather-wise, so we're back that up to Monday to start that project. base crew, been putting in some cross drains, clipped some shoulders. Paving crew, we got finished up, top of Mountain Road 231 with Blount County 24 Gulf Road. There at the Shoal Creek Community Center this morning, should have that finished by the end of the day. Okay. The next thing I have, I'd like to consider proposal from Sane and Associates to develop a benefit cost analysis. This is for proposed improvements to the I-20 Kelly Creek interchange, in the amount of $20,000. And this is, being needed because of a grant that we're seeking for the, Bridge Investment Program. The cost benefit analysis, or benefit cost analysis is gonna be the main thing that big items that scores a project. Has to be, the benefit over the cost has to be at least one, so we need to know that before we really proceed a whole lot of stuff. If y'all are good with that, I'd like to get that approved this morning.
You've heard the request, have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Properly moved and second that we engage Sane and Associates to do the cost benefit analysis, is that what that is? Or
Benefit cost analysis.
benefit cost analysis for the BIP grant,
That's correct.
BIP grant, whatever that is.
And what'd you say, it had to be one?
It has to be at least one, so basically the benefit's gotta at least be as much as the cost.
Okay, you've heard the motion and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next thing, we've received a petition to vacate a portion of Old Hazelwood Drive. It's right away that's currently or not gonna be used basically anymore. If y'all want to proceed with this, the next thing would be to set up a public hearing. As discussed in the work session, I feel like the next available one that would work would be on November the 26th. We do have to send out notices and everything, so this will allow us to have time to do all that.
I'm ready.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second, any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next thing, we have some annual bids that, I'd like to review. These are the ones that we bid out, and we do have the option in there to renew up to 2 additional, fiscal years on this. The first one there is, basic renewal for the aggregates, it's 2024-001. And that one would be to, Wiregrass. And Vulcan is the company we use as backup for that bid.
Gonna take all of these at one time, go through them?
If y'all, however y'all.
Y'all, and if y'all see one of them you question, we'll pull it out and talk about it separately.
If for some reason Wiregrass fails, Vulcan steps in
That's correct.
at their bid price.
They've got a bid price, now it's higher basically, but we've had, issues in the past, not this year so far, but like the year before. Wiregrasses, their crusher just broke down. They had to get a new one in, so we were without rock there for, a couple of months. So, and we did have to start getting it from Vulcan, for that period of time. So this covers that in case that should come up again.
Okay, next one.
The next one is for, it's 2024-08, and that was for, plant mix, and this is what we pick up at the plant, basically. We're using the water crews. And that one is basically, well, it's Wiregrass and Vulcan also.
What about 24-2?
Oh, I'm sorry, all right. Yeah, 2024-02 is for asphalt and emulsion, and that, basically is ergon. And then the next one I have is 2023-09, so it's already been renewed once. This will be the last time it can be renewed. but that's for our traffic signs, and this is from Traffic Signs Company out of Jacksonville, Alabama.
Okay, you've heard the request from the engineer on 01, 02, 08, 09. And I noticed on 09, it's 23, 09.
Yes, sir, that was the original bid.
Okay.
And like I said, so this will be the last time we can renew that.
Renew that, okay, gotcha. Anybody wanna take any of those out or take them all together? Entertain a motion, take them all together. Motion and a second, okay, any discussion on those? Dan continues to have some challenges when it comes to engaging contractors on some things. And, without discussing any particular challenge right now, he may have a challenge that's moving over some of our paving to a time that he's not comfortable with doing it because of weather, et cetera. So, he'll be reporting on that when we get to it, and it may impact what we're doing, but he's doing all he can do, we're doing all we can do. But the contractors are continuing to be exceedingly hard to engage on some of our projects. We're not going to get as many miles of paving. It's not because we hadn't allocated the money, it's not because we hadn't engaged a contractor as far as the contract, but it may be because contractors hadn't gotten here and may not get here. They're spread out in different jobs too. So, having said that, is there any way we can look at that kind of contract where we put a time frame in it if they hadn't engaged on a particular time frame in 90 days or something? From, let's say 90 days from the first day that it becomes 40 degrees and rising, or 90 days from April 1 or something, then we can go to the next bidder if we choose to. We may have to pay more for some of this, but it'd be better than not getting it. That's kind of where we are on some of this. Does that make sense? I know. Put that out there good enough?
Yes, sir, like I say, I think that's probably our next work session, we need to devote some time to that.
Yeah. All righty, any other discussion on any of this? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no, motion carries. All righty.
The last just informational item there, we wanted to redo a portion of the parking lot annex building Thursday. Right now, it looks like otherwise, we're gonna have to put that back to next week sometime. So, Tina, I'll try to give you notice on that, so we get some emails out.
And would you, mention you were engaged, the landfill still has some smoke, et cetera, and, got a call from the city of Moody, the mayor, and his fire chief, and they'd had a request to go over there once a week or at some particular time and put some water on some burning embers, just to, for lack of a better word, they've dug some logs out, it's still smoldering. And, the city called me because it's not in the city. I called Dan and the county attorney, because even though it's in the county, we don't have anything to spray water on it with, and it's really not our job to do, and as far as I know, that site is still under control of EPA. So, the contractor that's out there to do it, it's an EPA contractor, I think, he's one of the ones we dealt with before. He was looking for some help doing that, but we can't figure out a way to help in that respect, unless he can work out something where he pays somebody, either us, municipal, fire department, I guess he can pay them, that's something attorneys would have to find out. And they could engage their mutual aid, for instance, but that would take a request from whoever covers the landfill area, and I think that's forestry. And, so, that may be an option that we give him if he calls back, but otherwise, it's just not something, we're not involved in that. That landfill is on private property, as we finally worked out over months and months and months, and, it's still smoldering some, and it's still under control of EPA. Just wanted y'all to know about it. That's going on. It's finally gonna be some good charcoal.
I went out to the building, college guy,
Yeah, he's the same one as we dealt with.
Yes, yeah, the same.
Nice big time. Okay, anything else for the county engineer?
Contractor is supposed to be here about the mid part of October.
Okay. Moving on to Tina, our county administrator, you've got her report in your file there, and Tina?
Okay, I just wanna thank everyone that was involved with the county fair. It went well. Ashley is here today and she did a great job organizing everything.
I think all of us talked about it already, that we're excited about the turnout for this fair this year. And I want to thank Ashley, that's a considerable amount of work, in a lot of directions. And I think we learned a lot. Sheriff's Department, appreciate your people out there. They did yeoman's work. The crowds showed up like we was hoping they would really. And for what we had, I think they had a good time. And we actually had a calf born on Friday night live at the fair. People got involved in that and filmed it and all that. So any commissioners want to mention the fair or talk to Ashley about it or give any accolades?
I appreciate it, Ashley.
Yeah.
Appreciate that whole committee.
That whole committee done a great job.
That calf being born was the bonus. I seen about 75 kids that wasn't looking at their phone, they was looking at what's going on.
It definitely attracted some attention. I was surprised the little rides got as much attention. After the kids got there, man, they covered those things up. And the food vendors, as I understand, actually ran out of food on Friday night. And I guess they were happy, and that's one of the things, I know Tommy and I have worked with the block party here in Pell City over and over the years. And one of the big things y'all was worried about is the vendors complaining because they didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when you had a recap the next week, well, they left nobody there, nobody bought anything from us. Well, ours ran out of food. So that was perfect planning on y'all's part there to spread those out into the kind of foods they had. It was good food. I had people really talking about how good the food was. So it just worked out exceptionally well. So now then that's done, what you gonna do for us next year? Okay, Tina.
And the Pell City Chamber of Commerce reached out to the chairman about erecting the Christmas tree at the Pell City Courthouse on Monday, November the 25th.
I don't think this is a request for a ribbon cutting or anything. They just
No,
want to
sir.
put the tree up and that's the physical part of it. It'll take them a better part of the day. Y'all remember the big tree that we've got pretty good money invested in. The city of Pell City stores it for us and then they put it up. They might need our bucket truck, which she'll coordinate with y'all, just to put the top portion of it on. The rest of the thing, that thing's pretty strong. Actually, people can climb up in it and open parts of it and look out. So,
I'll contact them and probably let
Okay.
them know it's gonna be on the 25th.
Sir,
Lynn,
got Lynn will be there to help them, and I think what's his other name?
Billy?
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
they're good ones too.
I believe it's Christmas weekend.
They do a lot of work.
And that's all I have, Chairman.
Okay, any questions for Tina? Any questions for Ashley? We don't have her on this agenda to talk to about the fair, but any more questions about the fair? Ashley, you got any comments you wanna make specifically about the fair?
Thanks to the road department as well. They put a lot of work to even make the facility usable for the fair. So next year it'll even be better with the facility and having more time to plan, so lots of notes to make.
I got a call from the probate judge chairman of Blount County this morning on my way here, and he says, I heard y'all had a heck of a fair for the first one. Ours is next week. Y'all wanna come? They're opening up their new ag center for their first fair since COVID, I think. And so they're kinda starting over. Blount County's always had a pretty big one, but he said he'd heard up that way. He had some people down here at our fair, so I'm sure there's some people, especially from Asheville, here go there. Yeah, they several of them came. Of course, it's just a drop off the mountain at Spring. A lot of that area, so it was a good thing. So thank you, Ashley, again. And this is it around here. Dan especially, his guys, of course, every time, do you not, those people ever get any food? Y'all give them a lunch break or anything? Any one of us shows up, they say, can you go buy us dinner?
We don't meet on Fridays.
I haven't found a skinny one yet. I think it's
You
either
bought them
skinny.
all that barbecue the other day.
Hell,
Now we're kind of good, we gotta buy them some.
buy them before barbecue. All right, moving on to our county attorney. We went to the A-team this morning and got the prime person here. So,
I appreciate
Kyle
that, Chairman.
Barrington, Esquire.
Good morning. I only have one item, and it's really a follow-up on the county engineer's report to you about the I-20 Kelly Creek project. We have drafted a resolution for the commission to support the bridge investment program, and we are uncertain at the moment, as Dan told you, about which direction this is gonna take, but we do, need you to consider approving the chairman executing the support for that bridge investment program. Candace, is on her way. She may have more she wants to inform you of, but that's all I have, so I would ask that you, consider approving that draft resolution to support the
We
bid.
entertain a motion to approve the draft resolution supporting that project. Second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Outside of that, that's semi-discussion about that, about our grants. Talked to Don Smith yesterday. We're gonna go over, and Candace may speak about that later. We're gonna go over the grant process. This last year was the first full year we had the grant entity there, and we got a lot of grants, but we got grants in areas a lot of times we didn't get. So we're gonna see what was this grant program worth to us, because we do pay a pretty good chunk of money into it. And, but, you know, we didn't have to go run down grant people. We knew who to go to, so if nothing else, it was good from that standpoint. So we're gonna just have a little analysis of the grant program and see how everybody feels about it.
Yes,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Moving on to the report section for the commission. This is the last meeting of this fiscal year, unless, like I say, unless we extend it to finish up some things on the budget. But overall, this is the last one. And it's my first budget that I was the chairman through the whole process. The time before, kind of like you are, Joey, came in and before budget's done in October, and I was that way too. The commission was really good to me. I think, like you probably feel like they have been to you and let me involved in the part of it, but it wasn't my budget. In fact, I got mouthy a couple times, and I got called down by the county attorney for a meeting, probably too. But anyway, so, I want to give a little breakdown of my first budget year, and, one thing I wanted to check on and make sure that it's clear for all of us and anybody here that's interested in it. The $1 million that we put into the municipalities last year, it came out of the general fund, is back in the general fund this year to pay them. That's in our budget proposal. But it's put in there the same way it was distributed last year, but we haven't gotten any communications from the Mayor's Association on how to do it. Right now, we're assuming the distribution of that money will be like it was last year, but we did that under, some working with the Mayor's Association. So other than that, I want to be sure everybody knew that was in there. There are still requests out there, and we'll continue to look at this and probably look at it again in January about a sum out of the 4 cent money. That's where all this there comes in. We still haven't taken any out of the 4 cent money and specifically given to municipalities, but one thing we have done is we're getting closer to identifying what Dan spends out of the 4 cent monies that might be in a municipality. And so that's important for us to keep up with, so that the mayors know we are spending money in the municipalities out of the 4 cent money. We're documenting where that comes from. So hopefully we'll have some real figures on that by the time the first of the year gets here and we get everything settled down. There's still some things that we're looking at on trying to curb some building projects that in my opinion might not be necessary to do, or some building projects that might be necessary for us to do. So I'm still looking at that. That was one of the commitments that I actually had when I got elected. And we all know those things, and we know what my position on them was, and so we'll go back through those to see where my commitments and where we line up and see what y'all's ideas are. And one of them was early on, it wasn't on my card, but trying to provide a specific facility for the 4-H and the FFA. That came from our ag committee that we appointed and from 4-H FFA teachers in the schools. And we hadn't done that yet. There's been some discussion. They wanted the little shop building, and it's gone, so we're not worried about it. But there's been some discussion about the Cowboy Church space, and I know the Cowboy Church pastor told me he thought he'd heard from each one of y'all. I've talked to him also. We haven't talked to it in a meeting, that whatever each one of us told him, or his elders or anything. But he knows I'm not in favor of that space being taken from the Cowboy Church for several reasons. One, it pays rent. We've already did away with rent, and we did away with the welding shop, now this is rent, and it helps pay part of the power bills and all out there, or whatever that Ashley wants it for. But, I met with 2 elders and the pastor this Friday and Saturday, and they don't wanna leave, and their contract is till March, and yes, we can cancel it, I think, month to month, and do, you know, at any time. But they know they've got until March if we allow them to have till March, and hopefully they can have that amount of time to look at this thing and see how we go about, what we're gonna do with that space. That space is basically built out like they wanted it as a church. They put a lot of work in it, a lot of wood on the walls, and the kitchens like they wanted, and like their teaching, training rooms and stuff for their Bible classes. That's their church, and I think that's the only faith-based initiative that the county is involved in directly, and that's allowed, and it was allowed years ago with under President Reagan. He opened the door on faith-based initiatives that used to the other side of the aisle. I'm a Republican. The other side of the aisle always had a fit and said you can't do that. No crossing the boundaries between church and state. Well, that's not exactly what the Constitution says. So some people have challenged that, and I fall on the side of those that think that's not what it says. And we can have a faith-based initiative that does not affect the constitutional separation of church and state, which is not even in our Constitution. That's in the one of those Russian documents, whichever one it is. So anyway, we'll be looking at Cowboy Church. I see them being a real positive thing out there. They furnish security. They're in and out at different times. I just see them as an asset. And they big time stepped up for the veterans this week. They set their church aside for a veterans reception area, and there was veterans in there every time I went in. I mean, and they served homemade gumbo Friday night and homemade jambalaya on Saturday. And there's a lot of veterans. Greg Bailey, the guy that we actually pay out of our budget for the extension service to be our veterans rep, was there all the time, and he was excited about the cooperation that he had with the Cowboy Church. So I see all that being a real positive thing with the Cowboy Church, and I don't see that as being the 4-H FFA facility. I've talked to the same people that wanted other facilities, and they'll take it. I mean, if we say, look what we have for you, they're not gonna turn it down and run off and say no, but that's not what they want. And so we've got a while to make that decision. Hopefully we'll go slow enough to look at that a little closer. And we don't have any final plan yet for the old Asheville jail. That's been on our plate. This is during my whole year there. What are we gonna do? I think we're pretty much close to saying we're gonna sell it, but we have to set a price. We're gonna have to get together at some point, specifically talk about what kind of offer we'll take. Having met with the mayor, and just met with the mayor of Asheville, he's concerned. He wants to be involved in what goes in that building. It's our building. We can put anything in there we want to, but it's in his city and his council in the city of Asheville. And of course, they would like to be concerned, or they are concerned about what entity will go in there. And so, like we've assured him, he'll be at the table when we get to that point about what goes in there. We want it to be nice for Asheville and not something that makes something different, something worse. Also, moving on about the arena situation, the budget at the arena. Last year, there was $300,000 in the arena budget was specifically, but not, it wasn't nailed down that we had to spend it on sewer, because we adjusted that a little bit, and we spent parts of it on getting the area out there, what I call the ag facility, in better shape for events. And I think we did a lot of that. Ashley was right there, and Dan was right there, and it's a lot. I mean, it's a real good facility, just like it sits. But that left, how much was left in the budget from last year, and what did we do with the other? Was it about 80,000, Michelle? A little over 100. So there's 100 still in there. Did we remove that, or did we carry it over? So we removed it, but we had 300,000 in it last year. So that's something that we moved from the budget that I'm gonna look for us to put back in January if the budget will allow, for things out there that she might need. I've talked to Don Smith about the fair committee, whoever it is next year, and you were on that committee, having some comfort level that there was some money backing us if we don't go out and collect enough money. And we asked for a fair budget, we never really set one. We did spend some county money, but we never set a budget. And, Don has agreed that he will set the fair budget, some money aside for the fair next year in his budget. Because it's a tourism event, and at least the fair committee will know we're not going in there without anything. And they were real aggressive to solicit money, and they solicited, as much money as we put in, pretty much. So there's a pretty good relationship between the two. And, so I wanna be sure that y'all knew that. Don is agreeable to taking some of the money that we put in his budget and putting that aside for the fair, if you are okay with that. So, and the next big item out there that we're gonna run into, we've approved taking bids on a 50-foot extension on the, open air arena. And we don't know what that cost will be, probably all five of us got a different idea of what it will be. But I gotta figure in my mind how much I think is too much to approve for this year, especially considering that we turned some requests down for this year. So, that's gonna affect what we do in probably January also. But we'll have that, when do we say we'll open bids?
We don't know yet.
Susie is sending the bids out
They have
this
been
week.
That's right, they wouldn't, okay, but we do have the specs drawn up by a good gaming company.
Yes,
They're gonna
sir.
furnish those for free, and so we'll have some idea of what those specs are, and then that'll be put out to entities that build those kind of buildings, and we'll know about what kind of money that is. But I really see all of us probably looking at it pretty close, as long as our budget is some challenges. And we'll get some budget talks here in a little bit. But that's all I had to add to the whole first year that I worked under this budget, and I want to thank the commission for everything y'all done. I know y'all done a lot of work, for the county. That's what y'all seem to do every day, y'all work for the county. And, you see us sometimes have a difference of opinion, but all five people up here are here to work for the county. No doubt in my mind about that. So, commissioners, then that's my report. Jeff, do you have any portion?
I want to thank everybody involved with this budget, this staff, y'all been went overboard, putting up with us. Elected officials, y'all been easy, believe it or not, to work with. I just want to thank everybody. Joey, who's part of it. Thank you too.
Mr. Parker? Don't yell at me.
I just want to thank everybody, especially for that fair committee. Everybody that worked on that fair. You know, I was up there, it turned out great. Had a good turnout, and I've got nothing but good response from the public today. So, also, this budget, like they talked about on this budget, it was kind of a tough budget. But we just have to look at it again in January. We've had to put a lot of stuff off, and we normally don't have to, but, you know, this just, with stuff going up the way it's going up, we just have to wait and see and look at it again in January. But at least we did get a 6% color in there for our employees, which I think I had, so we helped their feelings anyway. And as far as my report, my district, Dan covered all that for me. Yeah.
I'm proud of the budget too. January when it's really looked at, I hope that Joey will be sitting here then. I hope that, he'll keep the employees in line, because there's some that deserves bumps up, some increases in steps that, is held back until January. So, I'll be looking to hopefully see Joey step up and get him taken care of in January. I think Joey's gonna do a great job. I'm proud he's the replacement for me when it comes that time. Not yet, but it's close, but he's been involved. I've invited him to be involved, and I appreciate his involvement there. The fair was great. I was out there Friday. Unfortunately, when I left, I was about 5 or 6 cars behind where the wreck took place, and the child got killed. At 411, yeah, 411. They're close to the school, but that's all situation. Dan, I appreciate. I've already told the folks at the show
Nobody ran them off this morning.
Yeah, but no, they may fence them in, I'll let them leave till they're finished, but, anyway.
Oh,
I
Jim
appreciate it.
Wilson, be smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Bless his heart, he passed before it was paved, and, one thing he said is he wanted to see that completed. During his term as considered mayor of Show Creek Valley. But he, unfortunately, he passed, a great man, he'll be missed, I think.
I really can't add a whole lot. I appreciate it. But in this budget, I want to point out, we're thankful we're able to give $350,000 to Mr. Carl Lyle to help fund them because they took a hit. So some tough decisions had to be made. We'll get through it and move on. I'm looking forward to 4 more good years. Appreciate everybody.
Okay, that's the reports from the commissioners. And with that, we'll move on to old business. Item 1 under old business, consider request from trade name Petro World Package for approval of a license, and that is the one on 231 South, which is the new, relatively new, isn't it? Is that the one that, what's those stores? Dollar Tree and what?
The dollar store and Family Dollar.
Family Dollar. There you go. Yep. Good people out there, but anyway, that was tabled per county policy, and today it comes back up for discussion.
I've not heard anything, Sheriff, you heard anything yet, David?
No.
I haven't heard anything yet, so I recommend, or I make a motion that we go ahead and approve.
Have a motion, have a second, properly moved in second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed no, motion carries. All right, moving on to new business, consider approval of the fiscal year 24-25 budget. And, there was some discussion that we can approve this today. We have until the 30th, just wanna be sure everybody knows their options. We have on item 4, I want you to, the commission to drop down there and read that. Just consider posting a special call meeting on September the 30th to approve the budget. That will go away when we get to it. I'll ask you to suspend the rules and remove that from the budget if we pass the budget. Yeah, as we go into it, didn't know if anybody had anything they wanted to put back in there, and I think Tina talked to her. We got one position that is similar to the position we have in the revenue office, where that office is funded some from the state for their reappraisal budget, and so part of their money comes from another source other than ours. That's easier for us to put things in that office because they get some money from the state. Well, another outfit that has a very similar situation is our public transportation, and their budget is funded by some federal funds, and they put in their funds for a 2-step raise. What was it they put in there that we put off for January?
Yes, 2-step for a couple of the employees in the office,
Yeah.
and then 1-step for another. But
That was put in their budget for, with their federal budget.
correct.
Okay,
But I spoke with them, and they understand that
so we can leave
we
it like.
plan on waiting till January.
Okay,
They-
we'll leave that alone, then, but just wanna be sure everybody knew, we treating everybody the same way. If it's a budget that we get money from somewhere else, it is a little easier for us to do it, because it costs us the same money. And it's somewhat true in your 911 budget, your money comes through some laws that produce the money for 911. Okay, with that, it's time then to,
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the
have a motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion on the budget at this time? Something this big, I gotta say something about it. It's a $72,501,193.16 budget. Pretty soon, this is gonna be a big company. But, right now, this year, it's a $72 million+ company. And, it's getting increasingly more complicated, not just because the dollars go up, but because of the regulations that come down, depending on who's in Washington, depending on who's in Montgomery, and depending on who's in these cities. It changes all the time. So we've got we have to look at this budget every year a little bit differently. This year, without saying whatever monies are out there, this leaves a general fund balance at 27%. So it leaves a general fund balance of 27%, so it doesn't mean we're broke. We have a policy that we don't drop lower than 20%. And this one, we're at 27. And if you take 27%, what's the general fund budget this year? I didn't mean that.
32,647,000.
Yeah.
That's what they project income, a 3.8% increase. And then a 7.4% increase on expenditure.
Yeah, so percentage is
So
one
it's
thing, but
doubling up.
how many millions are left in the, estimated millions are left in the fund balance of this budget? Is, 10, 11, or whatever.
We won't know that till the middle of
No.
November.
Yeah, but if we don't know the 27% either, but we know the estimated budget, and so what's 27% of that budget? That's what we've got left in fund balance, estimated anyway. Right now, it's all estimates. We'll know that till the end of November. But it's somewhere around 10, 11 million. I can do the Bateman math.
It's around there.
If Bateman math is 10 or 11 million. If it's 32 million and it's 1/3, it's $31,800,000. So,
What?
1 million divided by 3.
7% of
11
32 million.
11 million. We got plus or minus 11 million. That sound good, Sheriff?
Sounds happy.
There you go, that sounds that, right. That's where we are in general fund, but we got a lot of budgets and a lot of budget things. And the next biggest is, damage. And, it also will have a balance in it. And we haven't set a minimum policy on Dan's budget, but we're talking about it. At some point in time, we may, where we don't drop below 20% on our general fund. We, at some point, may say we won't drop below a certain amount on his, unless he applies it towards a capital project, would be my position. If he's got money and his is pretty sure to come in most situations, but, so it's a little more fixed. But anyway, we'll discuss that later on, so that all is in this budget. The 6% raise is the biggest thing, I'm sure, the employees, other than we had a decrease, thanks to the employees, pretty much, in our insurance, which is always a big expense for us. We furnish a lot of insurance for employees, and, that decrease, it's factored, it's affected by a lot of things. One thing it's affected by is we have a young workforce, so they don't have to go to the doctor's office. Got young people like Patrice has over there, and Tina, so y'all don't have to go to the doctor to spend all the money. Then we got some old people, like Dan, and they spend a lot of money. We got some people in between that literally used to run to the emergency room all the time, and that affected our rates also. We have a lot less of that, so the employees will make an effort to help us keep the cost of insurance low. That's to be lauded also. Anybody on the commission then have any discussion?
I'm surprised to see Michelle with her hair still intact. Between real math and Bateman math, it gets kind of touch and go there. But Michelle, I appreciate all you did. I appreciate the whole staff too. I don't know that. But Michelle was the kingpin on the budget stuff. I appreciate her.
Everybody share that sentiment, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, absolutely. She knows it.
Okay. And I'd like to point out too that we had some requests for, if not specifically Michelle, but we were looking at changing some job classification in our office, like nearly all offices, and all of those have been put off till January to readdress the budget. So, and of course, if anything comes up between now and then, there's one thing about the budget as far as I'm concerned. The budget is not a document that nails your feet to the floor. It's a living document, and if things come up and you've got a balance, you can readdress that budget and you can make budget amendments. Anytime that 3 out of 5 people here think that it's important. So this is the best budget that we think can be presented, but things change. And so if something changes before now, January, we can amend the budget. So that's where we are. Any other discussion? I don't want to wear it out anymore. All in favor of approving the FY 25 budget, let it know saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Wish I had a vote, I'd have a big, no, I like it. motion carries and the budget has been adopted as it's been presented, and we'll address it again in the first quarter. Okay, moving on to item number 2. Consider adopting new pay scale for a 6% COLA, cost of living adjustment raise for all eligible county employees. That's approved in the budget, the amounts in the budget, but to actually take the action to approve the raise, we take action in the commission. So we have a motion, have a motion?
Second.
A second. Any discussion? Well, there's a couple of places, can I talk to Lottie? I need to talk to Lottie first. I want to give him a raise. He started bringing drawing.
Get a percent, 6%.
Now, I know it wasn't. That's true, maybe.
We got January.
That's what, there you go, I can do that. Okay, no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to give 6% raise to all of the county employees, let them know, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no, motion carries. Item 3, consider approval of 23-24 budget amendments. That's the amendments that we've had this past year, is that correct, Michelle? We have to approve all those as a group. Entertain a motion to approve those amendments.
Motion.
Motion, got a second, moved and second to approve the amendments. Do you have an estimate, Bateman, math estimate about how many dollars those amendments were for the year?
Not a total for all funds, I can give you an estimate for a total for general fund was 1.4.
We adjusted the budget, just gives you an idea how that is a living document. We adjusted the general fund budget last year, 1.4 million. So, you'll see that as it goes along. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Now, moving on to item number 5, that's posting a special meeting, number 4, that's posting a special meeting. I would, entertain a motion to suspend the rules, since we adopted the budget, to have a motion to suspend the rules. Second. Probably moved and seconded, no discussion on suspending rules, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no, motion carries. Now I'd entertain a motion to remove number 4 from the agenda. Motion, have a second, probably moved and seconded, any discussion? Discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no, motion carried, thank you, got that clear. Now, moving on to number 5, consider adopt resolution 2469 appointing Tina Morgan County Treasurer effective October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. Resolution 2470 naming the county depositories effective October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? We have discussion. This is something that we do every year, appointing a person to be the actual county treasurer. A couple of counties in Alabama actually elect a treasurer, but this is the way the one's done in St. Clair County. And traditionally, we use the county administrator to do that. And the county depositories is another little vague statement. And we choose to select all of the banks that have a banking entity in St. Clair County. That way we do that.
Yes.
So that all the banks that have an entity in St. Clair County are official county depositories. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no, motion carries. Item 6, consider renewing Quadient contract for postage machine for 3 years. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Move second, any discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries. Item 7, consider request of EMA Director Patrice Ecclesiastic to renew the FY 25 contracts for that name again. Kyocera, $300, and Esri Software, $1,464. Have a motion.
Motion.
Second. Second. Properly moved second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, motion carries. Item 8, consider request from Revenue Commissioner Ken Crow to renew the following: FY annual contract, annual maintenance agreements with Login -GoTo Resolve, $1,782. Apex Software Maintenance, $2,250. Citrix ShareFile Cloud Service, $1,920. Adobe Pro, $1,408.30. Trimble Catalyst, $2,275. Keat Consulting Services LLC, $9,900. Ingenuity Mapping Appraisal, $48,125. Assessment Collection, $12,031. Esri Highway Project, $9,962.50. And DigiCert for $175. Unless you have a problem with all those, we'll take them all at one time. Entertain motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Yes, second.
Properly moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 9. Consider request Revenue Commissioner Ken Crowe to approve a 3-year contract with ThinkGuard, $23,256 a year, and a one-time $500 amount to put them into play. Motion? Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consider a request Sheriff Murray to approve the following. Out-of-court service agreement, $1,758. Pitney Bowes postage meter lease, $1,291.32. Pending the county attorney's review. Have a motion? Have a second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 11. Consider approval of request Sheriff Peter Murray to renew the following FY 25 annual contracts, agreements and subscriptions. Brooks Jeffrey Marketing Incorporated for the most wanted government website.com subscription, $5,805. And an agreement with JSU Forensic Services, $5,000. Have a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? That was my discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
They don't
Oh,
have.
she's got
Right,
one.
he'll take care of it.
There you go, I believe I got it. Thank you,
There
Joel.
you go.
You don't want water?
Yeah, it's a gummy bear.
Do you want water?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Hey, what y'all asking about my mother taking?
She's 93. You didn't mean to.
Hey, how long you had that in there?
Yeah. I don't know if it.
That's better than that last.
Take care of almost everything they owe you.
I like that. I have a motion and second, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. That choked me up, Sheriff, it was one of yours. Item 12, consider request Sheriff Bill Murray to renew Randy Hurst employment contract for 1 year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second, properly moved. Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 13, consider request probate judge Andrew Wethington to renew the Thomas voting machine for 1 year, estimated amount $3,000. Review the letter of authorization for Diversified Companies LLC, how you say that? Divco Data. Sounds good to me. For 2 years for their yearly mail outs for tag notices. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Properly moved second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. There's no, motion carries. 14. Consider request of IT manager Glenn Morgan to renew the Midtails telephone system customer support agreement for 1 year, an estimated amount of $14,400. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Properly moved second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no, motion carries. Okay, 15. Consider request of jail administrator Philip Bernard to approve a 2-year service contract with Montgomery Technology Systems LLC for the controls of all doors, lighting, and intercom at the Pellsage Jail, estimated amount of $12,307. Pending county attorney's review. Have a motion? Second, properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. 16, consider request of property manager Roddy Wolf to approve the CHA Fire Protection Services LLC service contract for the following locations and costs. That's sprinkler, fire alarm inspections, fire pump test for 1 year, et cetera. All that would be $5,350. CHA Fire Protection Services LLC, formerly named American Fire Protection LLC. The annex, you see the cost there, annex sprinkler $450, annex fire alarm $750, Asheville Courthouse sprinkler $700, Asheville Courthouse fire alarm $750, Bell City Courthouse fire alarm $750, Asheville Jail sprinkler $450, Asheville Jail fire alarm $500, Asheville Jail fire pump $1,000. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second? Properly moved and second. Any discussion? With discussion that Asheville.
Jail go away.
Yeah, the jail go away if we sell it. Of course, recommendation to keep it, viable building is to keep it heated and cooled and keep it from burning down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So all that's what that's for. So it doesn't have, gets filled up with mold and all that kind of stuff. Okay, did we approve it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no, motion carries. Item 17, consider request, from property manager Roddy Wolf to approve an annual maintenance contract with Vulcan Mechanical Services for maintenance/inspection of the boilers for the water heaters at the Pell City Jail in the amount of $5,984 a year pending county attorney review. Have a motion?
Motion.
Probably moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no, motion carries. Item 18, consider the request of property manager Roddy Wolf to approve the annual Automatic Fire Systems Incorporated contracts for monitoring at the St. Clair County Technology HR Center, $720 per year, and the Asheville Sheriff's Office, $720 per year, pending county attorney's review. Motion? Second. Probably moved to second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you so very much. Looks like what? Ooh, that mixed with whatever it was she gave me.
I've never had one like the other day.
Item 19.
Still getting old, man.
Consider request for any carrying time operations administrator to surplus and dispose of the following items: palm device, database, and radio console. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Properly moved and second, any discussion? Are these gonna have anything to do with the 911, or are they just part of his operations? Yeah.
I don't know, cause I didn't know about it. I'll have to look.
Any other discussion? We'll buy them back. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 20. Consider request of Patrice Kuziaski, EMA Director, to surplus and dispose of the following item: a workstation. We took a couple of those off, you're aware of that. Entertain a motion to approve?
Motion.
Properly moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 21. Consider request of Patrice Kuziaski, EMA Director, to contract with Civic Plus for a website in the amount of $6,489 a year, a mass notification alert system in the estimated amount of $16,215 per year. Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Have a second, properly moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 22. Consider recommendation of Ken Grow, Revenue Commissioner, to rescind the Reason Consulting Corporation subscription for 2 licenses, cost analysis evaluation system amount of $2,000 a year. It was approved in the meeting August 29th, and this is to rescind that subscription. Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Is that read the way you need to? Mr. Crowe? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 23, consider request of Central Dispatch employee, Desiree Cash, for approval of emergency sick leave. Have a motion? Second, probably moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 24, consider renewing the animal control contract with the city of Bell City for the first quarter of fiscal year 24-25 in the amount of $42,865 quarterly. The city of Bell City plans to partner with the Greater Birmingham Humane Society for the remainder of the fiscal year FY 25 budget. Entertain a motion to approve this amount for the first quarter. Have a second? Properly moved and second. And y'all probably have already done the math, but you can multiply that 42 basically times 4 quarters, and it's equal to the same thing from last year. Our new contract, starting in January, will probably be based on volume somewhat. So should be similar, but it may go up or may go down. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 25. Consider an addendum to the FY twenty-five Alabama Department of Youth Services long-term detention subsidy contract to name Coosa Valley Detention Center related to Act number 2024-305, pending the county attorney's review. County approved to renew the contract on 8/13/24 and amended per the request of the Chief Juvenile Court Officer of St. Clair County on 8/27/2024. So we've already taken that other action. This is to put an addendum on that, for this long-term detention subsidy contract. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? This was properly vetted in a work session. I don't know if we need to.
I'll just say, I had a conversation with DYS General Counsel this week, and it's really just a Scribner's error in the original document, and this addendum corrects that. The act provides for more reimbursement for us for services provided from DYS in the act that was passed. So
Was this the act that was passed, the one that the associations of counties was helping push to get more involvement from DYS with the counties?
yes, sir. That provides more reimbursement or subsidies, or whatever the right word is for that, for when days that juveniles are held goes beyond a certain point. So it's a great benefit that was passed by the legislature.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed no. Motion carries. Item 26. Consider an agreement with St. Clair County Healthcare Authority and the request to pay an invoice in the amount of $68,905.70 pending the county attorney review. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Properly moved and second. Any discussion?
That just makes up
That's right, that just brings us up to the agreement we have with them, and as we move forward, what will we do using the healthcare authority as our advocate for some other health related things? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed no. Motion carries. Item 27. Consider adopting resolution 24-67 to determine the amount of simplified seller's use tax, SSUT tax, for SRO related funding for the FY 25 budget. So that's adopting resolution 2024 that determines the amount of that SSUT money that goes into the SRO program in this coming budget. Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. I'd like for us to have had a dollar amount in that. Do we have that? Right here. There you go. 1.408,799.61.
That's for the sheriff.
That's just for the sheriff.
Start at the top.
Total, you know.
Okay, this is for the sheriff. That's for the sheriff's SRO program, though, isn't it? You're put in there for that, out of the SSUT money. Then, we also put some money in for, the Pell City Board of Education part of it. And that comes to $375,000 Pell City. Okay, having the amounts down there now, entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2467.
There's more.
Oh, you want it all read?
Yeah, we don't want that red gold.
No, it's supposed to, it's really supposed to be in here, so we can put it.
It's around 2.2 million total.
Yeah, but, make sure, other than reading all these out, just make sure they're in the minutes.
And they will.
Okay. 150 to the city of Moody, 150 to Springville, 50 to be delivered to town of Ragland, 75 to be delivered to Leeds Board of Education, et cetera, et cetera. And that's out of the SSUT money. It's really important that those are put in the, minutes, so we go back and discuss those and see where we discuss those amounts in prior discussions on the budget. I may not have been there on some of them, because I don't remember those exact figures, so that's where they are, just be sure they're all there. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of that, I'm saying aye? No, motion carries. 28, consider approval of travel requests. You've got a copy of the travel request in your files. Entertain motion to approve. Motion. Properly moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed no, motion carries. Board appointments, do we have any board appointments to be made today? Not, moving on to item 30. Consider payment of the regular monthly bills. Entertain a motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Okay, you've got a copy of the bills in your file, you can, stop payment of any of those at any time. And, between now and 5 o'clock today, gives you time to look over all of them, and any discussed on any of them now? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. I think before you do it forward. Okay, Jay, if you wanna, we have some visitors here, and, pardon? Y'all got Candace here also. You'll let her go first?
Oh, I don't even have anything. Go ahead.
No, we need to hear something really important.
The biggest thing I wanted to remind y'all of, the seeds check presentation on Thursday for the Moody Commerce, the new Commerce Park in Moody on Kelly Creek Road.
That's
And then-
two point something million to the Springville Park and 400 something thousand to the Moody Park, right?
Right, and, you know, we expect those parks to be, it's for site evaluation and economic development strategy, so we expect those sites to begin with those funds, but we also expect, additional funds to come in the next year or so. So, it's a big deal. Secretary McNair is coming, and they're having it at the depot from 1 to 2 o'clock on Thursday, so anyone that can be there, we would love to have you. And also our EDC annual event is October 17th, so everybody should receive an invitation to it soon, and we'd love to have all of you there.
Okay. And Secretary Ellen McNair, she's busy, but she's actually coming here for the presentation to Springville for those check presentations there. And pretty much.
And we will do both. It's a little bit confusing, but we will do both Moody and Springville there because of her time constraints,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, she can only be at one place, well, she's got other places to go that day. So, those projects are coming along really good. Before you got here, we also mentioned that our relationship with our, grant writing entity.
Yes.
It's not free, and we are paying, but we've gotten a lot of grants also, and they've been directly involved in several of them and indirectly involved in others. So at some point, we'll get you to give us a report somewhere in the next month or so. Just give us an idea of how that's working out.
Okay, that sounds great. I know Dan mentioned BIP, and we appreciate you approving the resolution for it. We're trying to figure out next steps because we kind of hit a hitch in that one, but we also will have some good, I'll come back next time because we will have some good feedback from the RAISE grant on Thursday, so.
We're gonna look for some grants in other areas. We went last year to DC to look for some for a bridge project in Riverside, some extensions on some water projects with Coosa Valley Water. Both of those are strong projects, but that ended up getting them for Riverside Bridge.
I've not received confirmation, so.
Thought we can just about say we got that.
It's made it farther than it has before, so we're hoping that it'll stay.
Anything we went to DC on direct appropriations, we did not get because the direct appropriations were put in the bill, but the bill hadn't passed. And I'm sure it'll come up for some more arguing in DC, especially depending on how the elections turn out in November.
Just have to hurry up and wait.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Candace? All righty.
Thank you.
And, we'll adjourn, that way you can just say what you need to say. That's all on our agenda, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Probably move to second, all fair side. Opposed, no, motion carries. Now, Jay's here representing, the, Three Hots and a Cot, which is a veterans-related thing somewhat, and, what is
Actually,
it?
you're representing Heindel Summers.
Heindel, okay.
A couple months ago, I was elected as the president of Heindel, and we were trying to do some good things around there.
Did y'all hear him? I can't hear you.
A couple of months ago, I was elected as president of Heindel, and we're trying to do some really good things around there. One of the problems that we've run into is the Heindel Water Authority has a board that is elected by the commission, and they have began creating rules that go against the bylaws in the community, and they're starting to put things into effect where they are governing who they do and do not sell water to. And it's really creating a problem, and I just wanted to ask the board if they would look into it.
There are some, we appoint the board there, but I know, every water system comes under some, residual federal restrictions, I guess is the best way to put it. If you got money far as I know, every water system that we've appointed and made a board for got federal money. They got, years ago, it was FFA money or whatever you called it, and they got federal grant money to start the systems. They had to come up with $25 a head for everybody that joined up. The other money came in through some federal money. But then, when you took that federal money, when they took that federal money, when your community took that federal money, then you get under the thumb of some federal rules. And what we'll do is look and see, get our attorneys to look into that and see what those rules are. And if there seems to be a deviation or violation of those rules, then, in the long run, that could affect us. For instance, if the board had to have a payback and all the board quit and left, that's St. Clair County's water system. So we do have if something crazy like that happened, we'd have.
Some of the things that they put into effect is, they just did this recently in the past couple of weeks. One of the things is they have the right to unhook people's water if they get any government subsidies. And it's so vague that it tells me if someone gets food stamps to feed their kids, then they have the right to unhook their water. And it's in their rules at this time.
Well, and that may be a violation because, you know, if the water system got federal money to have a water system, but they're gonna stop people from being on the water system if they got federal money. I'm not sure.
And another
Not sure it
thing
makes a lot of sense.
they've done is
Yeah.
square footage, you know, the bylaws and stuff within the community have a set square footage, it's 400 square feet. But, those things that need to be changed, and it's a private community, have to be voted on within the community. Well, they just put into effect that they will not hook water up to anything less than 1,000 square foot. And I'm not sure if you're aware of Pinedale, but those lots out there aren't made to accommodate 1,000 square foot homes. And there's several other things in that policy that need to be checked.
Original lots, a lot of the lots were 50 by 100, wasn't it?
Correct.
So that's no way to go. And they had to combine lots under some health rules years ago.
I think when they got their, sorry, I think
911.
when they put in the sewer system, they combined, you had to have a combined
Put
size of
some
the
lots
lots.
together, didn't you? Yeah. Okay.
I'm just asking if that we could look into it.
I've talked with Jay, and I'm talking with the water board, and I've talked with James. It's moving. As long as it's moving, we're okay. When it bogs down, we'll have a lot more concern. They're reasonable.
Do they have an attorney?
Yes. Y'all got an attorney, and they've got an attorney.
They have an attorney, solely, and, we are actually looking for a new attorney. Our old attorney resigned.
Okay.
It's moving. It's like a snail, but it's moving.
And since we did do appoint the board, we will definitely be involved in how
Thank
that
you so
structure.
much.
Okay, thank y'all for being here today, and I hope y'all enjoyed this exciting meeting we had today. We agreed a lot of contracts today because of getting the start of the new fiscal year. And before we completely leave, Sheriff, you have anything to add to us?
No, I just wanna brag on Ashley since you said.
Yeah, that, I'm telling you, did she do it? And I tell you, your guys out there, I'm thinking they're down here in this corner, and I was a little weird about, they had people around there all day long.
Ashley, did you, deliver that cash? You did?
Next year, I had a lot of kids wanting to drive that, armored machine, if you don't mind. We thought we'd use that as one of the rides.
Can we get them, County?
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a procedural question.
Sure.
How would our community go about requesting funds from the budget?
Funds for what?
Specifically.
Oh, from the budget?
Yes.
You have to be, like the community can't get it as a community as such. There's certain things we can put money in. For instance, your fire station. If it's one of our recognized county fire stations, I'm sure Pinedale's is, we can help you like fix the parking lot and things like that. If it's your community center, we really can't, cause it's like right there.
I'm specifically thinking of road repairs.
The road itself,
The not the road that the county already owns, the roads that are unpaved in Pinedale Shores.
yeah, they're not ours. We've gone through 2 or 3 changes out there where if we ever take the road across the dam, for a long time we held it up.
We got everything but the dam.
Everything but the dam. There were some things we could do on roads and some we can't, and Commissioner Brown's working with you, he can let you know some things we can do and can't do.
We done a mile back 8, 9 years ago, I guess, longer than that probably. And we said was gonna do another mile, but it had never happened yet.
Y'all didn't give me my mile.
That's what we're hoping for.
I ain't had my mile yet.
Took my mile away. That's kind of the process, though, so. All right, well, that concludes our meeting today, and thank everybody for being here, and, the commission will be around here to, answer some questions and promise you county money.
Have you signed the inventory sheet yet?
I've been out of office over the last week. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's late. I think she was just waiting on you to sign. So, you head back to the office.
Yes, I went back to the office, but I'm gonna get a key.
How long? 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 53 seconds. Huh? That wasn't too bad, considering we had all those resolutions and things to do. This is my,
I need one of those.
that's my studio.
I'm having,
$8.
well,
Uh-oh.
whenever.
This, and the little parts that go to it, this and this. $22. 2 microphones, remote microphones.
Well, I'm having to do my, Teams meetings.
Yeah.
Since I don't have a laptop anymore, well, I have one, but I use my PC. I don't have a camera. And so my screen is so big that if I put my camera up on top of it, it's looking at my forehead. So yesterday I had